Downhill season is upon us. We are 1 week away from the first stop of the UCI Downhill World Series this year, and the first stop is Fort William. Thank you for all of you guys that watched my track talk going over the track. Now I want to talk about kind of predictions, last year's results, and then the potential for a Riders Strike, which could be crazy. So stay tuned for that. Last year, Fort William was actually where the World Championships was held, which for those of you who don't know, World Championship race is different than the normal season. You're not racing for points here. This is just where you race and we see which country has the fastest riders. Last year, at World Champs, we had a actual major upset, in my opinion. Charlie Hatton, who didn't even finish in the top 20 in the overall points for the season, he ended up winning World Champs. So great for him. It's fun to see that. In second place, we had Andreas Kolb, then Laurie Greenland, Loic Bruni, and Troy Brosnan. So pretty standard people after that. Charlie Hatton, actually, if you look at the split times, after split number 1, he was in 11th place and then somehow jumped to second or first place on split 2, and then the rest of the way led the race. So he must have found some line or somehow found a ton of speed in split number 2 in order to make up the difference, which is just insane. I mean, racing is tight, but to jump up 10 spots is ridiculous. However, I don't have a lot of faith in Charlie Hatton going forward. Like I said, this was a great one-off race for him, and I'm super hyped for him. I don't think he's going to have a back-to-back Fort William win at all. As far as predictions go for this year, in third place, I am going to have Loic Bruni taking third. While Loic is probably the best rider in the world right now, and he's the most consistent, he doesn't win a lot of races, which is probably the big critique for him, but he is almost always in the top 5. So I have him taking third, and if not third, definitely in the top 5. In second place, I have Andres Kolb. Andres has been on an absolute tear as of late. He did place in top 5 in points in the overall, as well as he did take second again last year at Fort William. So I expect him to keep up the pace. He already races great on this track, and I expect him to do so again. In first place, I do have Amari Piron, who is finally back after a lot of injuries last year. Fort William is one of his tracks. He kind of owns this place. He races extremely well here, and I see him doing that again. So expect more Piron magic coming into Fort William. I think the top section he's going to do extremely well at, and then he just has a way of constantly gaining speed and momentum throughout the rest of the track. So, and like I said in my track talk, if you can do well in that first top section and then maintain that lead through the rest of it, that is the formula to winning here at Fort William. So, expect Amari Piron to do well here. Now, for kind of some potential news, red herring, red flag, whatever you want to call it, there is a potential strike, rider strike, at the first stop of the World Cup Series. And that is because of what happened at Crankworx Rotorua. Now, for those of you who may not know, the slopestyle athletes at Crankworx Rotorua decided to not participate in the event due to them having some demands that they put forth on Wednesday that needed to be completed by Friday of the event, involving having the event held earlier in the day so there was no wind delay for a better broadcast, having hotels paid for both riders and alternates, as well as a appearance fee of $2,000 for every rider who comes. The idea behind the fee is to help with costs for getting to the event and just for kind of a basic pay for athletes and alternates for showing up. The main idea behind this is not so much for the top end riders to get more money, although many people are seeing this as a money grab. It is mostly to, as they've stated, and in their words, is to help up and coming riders be able to afford to come to these events that they rightfully deserve to come to. So what the heck does this have to do with downhill? As we've talked about extensively on this channel, and as we will continue to talk about extensively, and has been gone over and over again, sentiment is down amongst the downhill community due to the recent Warner Brothers Sports partnership with the UCI Group Corporation. Because of this, there's been format changes riders don't like. There's been a cut of the overall field that riders don't like, and many people have expressed their frustration. I think the main pain point has been the semifinals introduction. Nobody likes the semifinals run. Before, there was a qualification run that set your times for the finals, and then there was a finals run. Now there's a qualification run that gets you into the semifinals, and then there's a semifinals run that sets your order for the finals run, and then it's your finals run. And it's not even like your best run takes it. It's literally your finals run still counts. So we're literally just adding more race runs. It's just a lot of hoops to go through, and it doesn't really make sense to me. Their kind of reasoning for it is that we only get to see the top 30 riders broadcasted anyway with Red Bull, so we're only going to do the top 30 again. That's how they did cut it from 60 riders to 30. The broadcasted riders are going to be the only riders going to be competing. So shortening the field in that way. And then on top of that, we add this additional race run, which is just more dangerous for the riders, objectively. You're gonna add a whole other race run that riders have to care about if they're going to do well in their finals run, or if they want an edge in their finals run. On top of that, the semifinal points don't even count to help you qualify to stay in UCI. If you don't know, if you're competing in UCI, you have to maintain a certain amount of points and able to qualify to even qualify for the qualification run, which is confusing. That's really confusing. But your semi-qualification runs your semifinals runs points don't count towards you even qualifying to compete, which makes no sense if they matter. So anyway, there is a chance that downhill riders will follow suit with Crankworx slopestyle riders and go on a rider strike. There's been talk of it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there is a chance that we could have a rider strike. So without further ado, that is it for me today. Yeah, that's it for me today. Peace.